we'll do is we'll do the same thing. Kevin, commenting. Okay, good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Oswego County Industrial Development Agency, May 17th, 2022 meeting. Before we begin, I'd like to have Kevin LaMontagne introduce the staff and the guests that might be either virtual or in present, and then I'll have Len Schick do a roll call to ensure we have a quorum.
Here, before I do that, I'll just check on the phone, see if anyone's joined. Has anyone joined us on the phone line here?
Well, Morris is.
Morris, only Morris, okay. So here, as far as staff and guests, we don't have any guests at the moment. Staff, Mike Treadwell, Chief Executive Officer of the agency, myself, Chief Financial Officer of the agency, and Austin Villock, Deputy Director of Operations, Oswego County.
Okay, thank you. And Len, can you do a roll call?
Sure. Gary Toth.
Present.
Mark Greco.
Present.
Barry Trumbull.
Present.
Len Schick is present. Morris Savello.
Present.
Nick Canale.
Present.
Tim Stahl.
Present.
Okay. Okay, so we have a full house, we have a quorum. Okay, thank you everyone for joining us on this early meeting, and we'll get right into the order of business. Did everybody check the portal? Included in the portal were the minutes of the April 13th, 2022 meeting. Hope you had a chance to review them. Do I have a motion to accept the minutes as written?
I'll make that motion. Second.
Okay, motion by Nick Canale, seconded by Mark Greco to accept the minutes as written. Are there any additions, errors, or corrections? If not, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Thank you, Morris. The minutes are carried. The notice of our meeting was published in the Palladium Times, May 5th, 2022. Treasurer's report. Again, the financials are also included in our portal that was sent out to everybody. Hope everybody got a chance to review them. Do I have a motion to accept the treasurer's report, please?
Remove it.
Okay, motion by Len, seconded by Barry Trimble to accept the treasurer's report. Any questions on the treasurer's report? If not, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion is carried. Okay, we did have a guest on the line. Did we?
Has anyone joined us from GSPP? No, we could cover it, Gary.
Oh,
Good.
you want to still do it?
Sure.
Okay, we're going to jump down to 5, GSPP, State Route 104. The initial resolution, Kevin, I guess is that you or Michael?
I can cover that one.
Yeah.
So GSPP 5059 State Route 104 LLC is a solar development, as we've seen many times before. This one is in the town of Scriba. It's basically Hammond's Corners, just past, or just where County Route 29 comes in, just past the former gas station where they still have propane tanks. If you're heading out on Route 104, the parcel, standard drill. It's an 82.5 acre parcel on both sides of County Route 29. The solar farm will be 13 acres. It's 2.25 megawatts. Their application will follow our solar policy, the 5,000 per megawatt, 2% escalator, a 20-year pilot. So we've received the application. We have an initial resolution today that would authorize us to hold a public hearing and, of course, continue on through the application, maybe approve it at the next meeting. So that's the drill.
You said this is a 5 megawatt.
It's 2.25. It's a small one,
2.25, small.
as we've seen. Yeah.
Smallest one we've done in a while.
Yeah, wow.
That's about 2016.
It's hard to believe that it is, to be honest. Yeah, it seems, we speculate that maybe we're seeing maybe the prime sites that they could put that the full 5 megawatts to the grid or whatever are being used up, but we don't really know. We have another application for the next meeting for another 5 megawatt project in New Haven, so they're out there still.
The thing is the proximity to where they can have their interconnects.
It seems to be a credit. As we look at this, Austin and I, for example, talk to developers, that seems to be one of the key things. And we get inquiries and never turn into apps because I think they discover that the interconnect is too expensive.
It's too cost prohibitive sometimes.
Yeah.
Okay, so you've heard Kevin on the initial resolution. Is there any questions from the board on GSPP's solar proposal?
This is a new company we haven't dealt with in the past.
We have, I should have mentioned that, this is Green Street Power Partners, so we are dealing with them more and more. They have taken over some Navitas projects.
They took over the one in Hastings, didn't
Yes, they did. So we definitely have familiarity with them with us as well, so they kind of know our routines and our process.
they? This is only a 3.8 million. Because it's small.
Okay.
Thank you, Nick.
And I could say too, the developer or an affiliated company with the developer has purchased the land in this case. We've also seen that before in limited cases rather than a land lease, so.
Okay, any other questions regarding this solar project? Okay, can I have a motion on the initial resolution, please?
I'll make it.
I'll make that motion,
Second.
Morris.
Motion by Tim Stahl, seconded by Morris Sorbello on the initial resolution for GSPP's solar, community solar,
Yes, it is, yeah.
community solar project. Any more questions or any other comments regarding this project?
Has it gone through the planning board? Or do they have a planning board? Is this?
Yes, because I have the documentation from Kevin, his town attorney.
So they have all decommissioning plan and all that kind of stuff that we expect, or at least whatever the requirement is from.
They will, I mean, this is early, I guess I'm not sure.
This
100%
this one's
if
been
they-
going on for a good while.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we have their site plan approval, but the decommissioning plan will be flushed out a little bit later.
Okay.
You know, again, just to refresh my memory, and maybe the board, in order for a pilot to be put in place, they have to meet our solar policy, right?
Right.
Decommissioning, escalator, the 5,000 megawatt, you know, those things have to be in place, so.
But not at point of initial application, we're saying that would be at point of close, or would that be at point of, because sometimes that wouldn't, I understand the commissioning plan wouldn't actually come out until after we've already approved it, correct?
Yeah, correct.
So we would need some additional step to review that, to verify.
That always happens that's one thing Kevin does in the closing
Yep.
process, yeah. And in this case, you know, he may be on
You
both
just
sides of the
verify it.
transaction, yeah.
Sure.
Mhm.
So it would be able to close if,
Correct, yeah, so we could approve it, but any approval we did would be contingent, you know, based on that contingency. We do, between Kevin and I, we make sure it exists.
That just means they're eligible for IDA benefits. Any other comments or questions? Do you have a motion? Did I have a motion? Tim and Morris, that's right. Okay, I'm sorry. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Carried. Okay, now we will jump back up to 4, the Mexico Community Solar Project.
And for this one, I'll take this one too, Gary. You have a cost benefit analysis that gives the details of the project, number 4, in your facts. This one, we approved the initial resolution, much like we did for that other project at the last meeting. Since then, on May 6th, we held a public hearing and have continued on creating the resolutions, so long as you see listed on the agenda. There were no attendees at the public hearing other than company representatives, so no particular comments or feedback, and we haven't received any in the agency. Gary, was there anything from the town board meeting you want to share? I just
No,
didn't get a chance to ask you.
Nothing was brought up, and so,
So as far as we know, this project well supported by the community, or at least supported. This one's also has been somewhat of a long time coming through the town of Mexico and figuring out how the town wanted to handle that, so. But here we are at the final approval stage, typical resolutions, seeker inducement pilot and final approving. The town of Mexico served as the lead agency for seeker, found this to be a type 1 action and no adverse impact, so. We'd be
Kevin,
adopting
it says
theirs.
average pilot, is that average over the 20 years?
Yes, yep, it
Okay.
is. So year 1 at 5 megawatts, 5,000, 25,000, then, goes on up to, say, mid-30s by the end of the, more or less a midpoint, but it's the average, yeah.
And the current tax, that's
It's nominal, it's calculated.
that's
below.
county, town, and
Yeah, because we often find it's quite low like that because we're dealing with just the
Property.
unimproved empty land. That's,
Yeah.
we can only because the part that we put a board, a tax map parcel border around never has improvements, so it's just the 24.5 acres at the average tax per acre on the land. The land assessment times the tax rate, kind of times the acres.
Okay, any question on Kevin's cost benefit analysis before we start with the resolutions?
Pretty standard, I think, for
Okay.
solar projects.
I serve on the planning board in Mexico, and we worked on this for like 3 months. So should I abstain from any votes, or
You don't have any direct,
no, I have
You
not.
don't have a business
there's no
tie.
reason.
No.
Okay.
You don't own the property, they're not a relative. Yeah,
Nope.
Yeah,
Okay,
then I don't think so. I don't think so.
all right, just wanted to check. Okay, first is the seeker resolution. Do I have a motion and a second on the seeker?
I'll make it.
Okay, motion by Tim Stahl, seconded by
Second.
Nick Canale on the seeker resolution. Any questions or discussion on the seeker? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Are you, okay, Morris, you're good with it, or?
He said, yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
all right, thank you, Morris. Okay, the seeker resolution is passed. The inducement resolution. Mike, just for Mark's benefit, since he's the newest member of the board, could you explain each one, like inducement and, stuff, just to,
Well, the four different resolutions, this is legal stuff, a lot of it's redundant. Redundancy is the name of the word. The inducement resolution, is simply the fact that the agency recognizes and reviewed the cost benefit analysis and think that the project is worthy of being induced, therefore being permitted to get the benefits from the IDA of the property tax exemption, sales tax exemption, and in some cases a partial mortgage tax exemption. So that is the real kickoff thing in terms of getting the project moving toward closure. The pilot resolution, which we'll get to, is just spelling out the terms and conditions of the pilot agreement. The final approving resolution is an extra fee that the legal team wants to put on the project. It's just saying everything over again in a summary fashion. So, and that's it. We do it. Same thing as for every project. Exact same form. And
What does the secret stand for?
Huh?
What is the secret? What is the acronym?
that's the State Environmental
Okay,
Quality Review Act.
understood.
Yeah.
And in there, also I could add that we as the IDA can act as so there's kind of a lead agency situation. Typically it's the town planning board, but some of our towns don't have planning boards, and we're posting a couple of cases, so we legally can be the lead agency, but we generally, we would prefer to defer to the city or town that's involved in this, or the county or state or whatever it might be.
We prefer not being the lead agency, but we can do it.
That's not really our desire or role.
okay, so the inducement resolution, do I have a motion and a second on the inducement resolution?
I'll move it.
I'll second.
Motion by Nick Canale, seconded by Mark Greco to move the inducement resolution. Any comments or questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Mr. Morris, the inducement resolution is passed. The pilot resolution.
I'll move it.
Motion by Barry Trimble. Do I have a second?
Well,
Second by Len Schick on the pilot resolution. Any comments or questions on the pilot? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried. And the final approving resolution. Do I have a motion on that?
I'll make it.
Motion by Tim Stahl, seconded by
I'll second.
Mark Greco on the final approving resolution. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, it's carried. Okay, okay, so, yeah, I think, what I wanna do, is maybe jump down to, 12 and 13, because they're not under executive session. If that's okay with the board, and that way, when so, and then go, maybe, is Kevin coming?
Yeah, I wouldn't want Kevin here for some of the.
Right, that's what I'm thinking.
Should be walking in.
Okay, so, let's go to 12. the EDA Build Back Better Regional Challenge, and then Austin?
Sure. Okay, so just as an update for where we are in the process, and for anyone who may not be familiar, the IDA had applied through a regional application to get funding to build out the infrastructure and site readiness activities down on the lands, the expanded industrial park property that was purchased by the IDA last year. Where we are in the process right now, we just participated in a virtual site tour with the EDA representatives last week on May 10th. That was a good event, a couple-hour event. As I discussed last time, the EDA had told all of the people who were applying that you could apply for up to $100 million, and then were surprised when most of the applications came in close to $100 million. So they've asked everybody across the board to cut their requests. So the Central New York application, all of the applicants, including us, and I believe there's 9 applicants total, cut across the board 30%. That was approved by this board. We resubmitted actually yesterday with a new grant request. It went from $7.5 million EDA request to $5.25 million, and our total project cost went from $10 million to $7.75. We had to resubmit that as well as a modified scope of work. We kept all of the infrastructure in place. We didn't touch any of that. What we removed was some of the site readiness activities. So instead of cutting and filling the entire site, we cut and fill within 100-foot right of way of the road and utility outside of that. So it's that's the way we had to do it and still be able to do it within the project budget. So and then just lastly, from what we know so far, we're still on track to find out by late August, September, in terms of if the grant will be approved. The regional application at this point went from 93 million to about, I think it was 66 million, and they were trying to get it cut down to about 65. They think it's more competitive at that point, but we'll see as this process goes on if they want to cut more, or if they decide any of the projects are not feasible with a smaller amount. So we're not sure yet, but I think we're still in a very strong position, based on the merits of the project as well as what we're able to get done for the funding we've asked for. I think we're one of the smallest asks within the regional application at 5.25 million. I think there's only one other that's in close, and the other ones are higher numbers. So I think that bodes well for us as well. So just wanted to let you guys know we're still in a good position, and we're doing everything that's been asked. Any
So
questions?
Austin, so our obligation of 25%.
It's actually it didn't drop. We kept it at 2.5 to keep it competitive.
Okay.
Yeah. No, it's one of these things where we were doing a 25%. You didn't have to do. The minimum I believe was 20%. We wanted it to be more competitive, and I think we're still looking at. We want to make sure that this is as competitive as possible. We don't want to get taken out because we decided to lower it down, even though the IDA was okay with putting that much in. So keeping it that and see where it goes.
Now, there is still the opportunity, if this is awarded at 5.25, there's nothing to prevent the agency to continue to look for other funding sources to build it back up to what the original project development would have been without the cut. Then we would even have more leverage because we got EDA leverage and the IDA leverage to secure more funding.
And we have the property.
Have we discussed or thought about doing a CFA application or UR application for that project?
I think that that's something that's definitely in the mix for sure. Yep. They're actually looking at. There's a new program that the state is rolling out called Fast New York, which we don't know a lot of details about yet, but it looks like it would be a good fit. It's looking at doing things like shovel-ready industrial sites for the semiconductor industry, which we're already aligned with. So if it's a CFA or if it's that program, because that program doesn't look like it's inside the CFA, we thought it would be, but it looks like it's going to be its own standalone. Well, we make it full routes and just, give yourself the maximum amount of chance of getting funded.
And are we allowed to use as our matching funds, the federal portion with that one? Do you know what they say?
Fast New York, we don't know the details of it yet. They're still waiting to get that out, but I imagine if we can, as of right now, we could probably only use the 2.5 because that's committed until we know if the EA funds are approved or not. But we would let them know we're applying for it for sure.
Okay, any other questions for Austin? Austin, thank you very much. And keep our fingers crossed and hopefully we come out on top of this. Would be awesome. Okay, number 13, Buddy Broadwell's a Geo Hotel, the water park project.
Yeah, as you recall, we provided an extension, and the termination of that extension for the sales tax component of that benefit expired or will expire end of June. And the project is still a long ways from being completed. And they have formally requested that we extend the expiration for the sales tax benefit to the end of the year, 12/31/22. We did an assessment of the sales tax benefit that has been claimed for 19, 20, and 21. They still have about 122,000 left in their cap, so there's still significant room there. So we have a resolution authorizing the extension of the sales tax to 12/31/22. The cap remains the same. There's no change or anything in that, but they will have the ability to continue to get that benefit for 6 more months. Hopefully that will be the last one.
Where are they at? I mean, as far as construction goes, I mean,
Construction's pretty much done. It's just getting the
It's-
inside
it's
stuff.
the inside.
Yeah, it's,
Okay.
It's like everybody else, it's, the supply chain issues and
Yeah,
all the rest of
but
it.
basically, everything's framed, everything's inside, and it's basically the equipment that he's trying to get.
Yeah, and it's some. I mean, the stuff. Well, they also had trouble getting labor to come in and do some of the work too. So it's was totally anticipated that they would be done by this summer, and I still think they could perhaps get into operation, but it still won't be complete. They'll still be getting some other components for their.
Okay, good.
Any other questions from Mike or any comments regarding this project?
It's very impressive.
The extension?
Inside. You look at it from outside, you say, you walk on the inside, and wow.
Yeah, I
It's
almost
totally a different animal inside.
I'd almost like to see it before they start putting the equipment into it.
All the equipment's there. A lot of it is already
Oh,
in.
is it?
Yeah.
So Mike, do we need we did a resolution on this before, didn't we?
Yeah, we're doing another one. It's
Do another one?
extending it for another 6 months.
I'll move it.
Okay, a motion by Len Schick. Do I have a second on extending the sales tax resolution? Mark Greco? Okay, any questions? Any more questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Carried. Okay, now we have some items that we have to discuss under executive order. So, Kevin, can you please detail the reasons we're going into executive order, please?
Sure. It's to discuss the personal or the financial or credit history of a particular person or corporation under Public Officers Law 105C.
Okay, thank you.
I don't think we have any litigation here. That's it.
Okay, so do I have a motion to go into executive session?
I'll move it.
Okay, motion by Barry Trimble. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Moore seconds it.
Seconded by Morris Sobello. Motion by Barry Trimble, seconded by Morris Sobello to go into executive session. What time?
8:30.
Any opposed? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. we'll take the we'll start the video, we'll take the motion, Len will give the time.
Right, the video's running.
Okay, so, do I have a motion to come out of executive session?
I'll move it.
Okay, motion by Barry Trimble, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Mark Greco. At what time, Len?
9:47.
9:47. All those in favor of coming out of executive session, say aye, please.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Carried. Okay, a few orders of business we have to discuss. The Novellis project. Michael, again, what was the,
Just consenting for the Scribe Planning Board to be lead agency for the expansion project.
okay, you heard the
I'll move it.
I'll second it.
Have a motion by Len Schick, seconded by Nick Canale. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay, the administrative policy guidelines that were drafted by lead counsel Kevin Lamontagne. Do I have a motion to
Kevin
Kevin Cole, that's right. Do I have a motion to accept the policy as written?
I'll make it.
Morris makes that motion.
I'll second it.
Okay, motion by Morris Cervello, seconded by Tim Stahl. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Carried. Sorry, Kevin. Okay, the delinquent loan report of April 30th, 2022. Do I have a motion to accept?
I'll move it.
Motion by Barry Trimble, seconded by Len Schick. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Carried. Okay, any other business that needs to be brought before the board? Okay, I guess the only other thing is to set our next meeting date.
What about the week, starting Monday, that's June 20th?
I'm not really available most of that week. We're installing a new point of sale system that week, and I can't be gone for 3 hours.
What about the week before? Well, that's not a
That's
good,
not a
that's
good
like,
for us, Mike.
that's our annual meeting. Oh, just to remind everybody, the annual meeting, on the 16th of June, Kristen Nelson, the new plant manager at Novellis, will be the keynote speaker. So we're very happy to get her.
They have a plant manager already.
What?
They get a new one in Novellis, plant manager.
Yeah. Woman.
Yeah.
What about the end of June, Michael, the 27th, 28th?
I'm out of town. I'm in Manhattan that week.
You can do without me if you want to do it the week of the 20th. If I dial on the phone or something, later if I have to.
Would you say, Mike, the 23rd, you said?
23rd would be fine.
Is everybody available on the 23rd?
I may be out of town. Maybe. So let's go with the 23rd.
You won't be available on the 23rd?
I could possibly be available before 11 o'clock on the 23rd. But I probably will call in case I gotta wait.
Do we want to do, since before 11 o'clock?
Yeah, I got a live training day that starts at 11.
Is the 22nd any better or 21st?
Those are worse.
So if we did like an 8:30 meeting or something like that on the 23rd?
I'd make it 8 o'clock if it's possible.
Yes, 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
So good, so we did today, worked out.
Would that be, is that, Kevin, does that work for you?
I'm free.
Okay,
I'll put it in.
So Thursday, the 23rd, at 8 o'clock?
sounds good.
I'll call you and wake you up, Kevin.
But
6:23 at 8 o'clock. Did you get that, Morris?
Yes, I did. In fact, I may be there personally, so
Oh, good.
maybe I can work it out to do that.
Oh, I had to order extra muffins.
Okay, so is everybody good,
Excellent.
good with June 23rd, Thursday at 8 o'clock?
I think so. I gotta check the schedule. I coming up for a while, and then get, doctor's appointments, whatever, done, while I'm there.
Okay.
For everybody's information, I rented a place here in Florida, and we've rented it for a year, and down here just to rent. And, that's what's happened to me personally. So, I'll go back and forth or whatever. It's a great organization as long as I can be a member.
Okay, thank you, Morris. Okay, meeting date is set. I guess the only other thing is a motion to adjourn.
So moved. Second.
Motion by Tim Stahl,
I'll make a
second by Nick Canali. All,
Mark Recco.
Mark, I'm sorry, Mark Greco. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay,